What if I told you that two 10-year-old kids brought one of America's busiest airports to a complete standstill with just one phone call? And it all started because someone thought they didn't belong in first class. This is the story of Marcus and Zoe Williams. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll never look at airport staff the same way again. Picture this. It's a Friday evening at one of the country's largest airports. Storm clouds are rolling in, flights are delayed, and tensions are running high. Two kids, twins, actually, walk up to the gate with their boarding passes, excited for their very first solo flight. They're heading to Miami to celebrate their grandmother's 80th birthday. Simple enough, right? Wrong. The moment Janet Rodriguez, a gate agent with 15 years on the job, sees these kids with first-class tickets, something clicks in her mind. And it's not good. Where did you get these tickets? She demands, loud enough for half the terminal to hear. Now, imagine being 10 years old, having lost your mother just 6 months ago, and suddenly being accused of stealing airline tickets. That's exactly what happened to Marcus and Zoe. These weren't ordinary kids causing trouble. Marcus wore his junior aviator pin from summer camp and dreamed of becoming a pilot. Zoe clutched her stuffed elephant named Peanut and had the kind of bright smile that could light up any room. They were polite, well-dressed, and holding legitimate tickets their father had purchased for this special trip. But none of that mattered to Janet. The situation escalates quickly. Dave Patterson, the airport security chief, steps in with his intimidating presence. Monica Sterling, a flight attendant obsessed with maintaining standards, whispers poison in Janet's ear about who really belongs in first class. Soon, Tom Bradley, the gate supervisor, arrives, and instead of diffusing the situation, he makes it worse by backing up his employee completely. Now here's where it gets heartbreaking. These kids are moved to a holding area, separated from other passengers, while adults debate whether they're criminals or not. 200 people are watching, some recording, some nodding in approval at what they're witnessing. Can you imagine? 10-year-old twins being treated like airport security threats because someone couldn't believe they belonged in first class. The twins desperately ask to call their father, but they're denied. Your dad can't fix this, Janet tells them with fake sympathy. What she doesn't know is that she just made the biggest mistake of her career. See. Marcus and Zoe's father isn't just any dad. Dr. Michael Williams is the chief air traffic controller for the entire Southeast region. While his kids are being humiliated at Gate B47, he's sitting in the control tower managing the flow of hundreds of aircraft. He has no idea his precious twins are being treated like criminals. But here's where the story takes an incredible turn. Some passengers finally start speaking up. Maria Gonzalez, a mother of 3, plants herself in front of Janet's desk and says what everyone's thinking. This is wrong, and you know it. They're just babies. Sarah Chen, a businesswoman, calls it what it is, discrimination based on skin color. Robert Thompson, a teacher with 20 years of experience, vouches for the kid's character. Their courage creates a ripple effect. More passengers join in. The crowd that had been divided between supporters and silent witnesses begins shifting toward justice. The pressure becomes impossible to ignore. Finally, after more than an hour of this nightmare, the twins are allowed to make one phone call. With trembling fingers, Zoe dials her father's number. When Dr. Williams hears his daughter's scared voice explaining that airport staff won't let them board and are threatening to call child services, something in his voice changes completely. Tom Bradley takes the phone, thinking he's dealing with just another upset parent. This is Tom Bradley, gate supervisor, he says professionally. What happens next will give you chills. This is Dr. Michael Williams, comes the reply. You're detaining my children. Tom tries to brush it off with corporate speak about protocols and procedures. That's when Dr. Williams drops the bomb. Mr. Bradley, I'm the chief air traffic controller for the Southeast region. Every plane you see sitting on that tarmac, every aircraft waiting for clearance, I control their movements. The blood drains from Tom's face. Janet Rodriguez looks like she might faint. The realization hits everyone at once. They haven't just mistreated two random kids. They've messed with the children of the man who literally controls the airspace. Above one of the world's busiest airports, Dr. Williams gives them 30 seconds to put his twins on the plane. When they try to negotiate, he does exactly what he promised. This is Control Tower. His voice echoes through the radio systems. Implement ground stop protocol immediately. All aircraft movements are suspended until further notice. The effect is instant and devastating. Every single plane at the airport stops moving. Baggage handlers halt operations. Fuel trucks park. The airport's PA system announces that all flights are suspended due to an air traffic control directive. Chaos erupts throughout the entire complex. Within minutes, airport executives come running. The financial implications are staggering. Every minute of shutdown costs hundreds of thousands of dollars. Janet Rodriguez is terminated on the spot. Her 15-year career over. Dave Patterson is suspended. Tom Bradley is demoted and takes a massive pay cut. The discrimination that started this mess ends up costing the airport millions. But the most Powerful moment comes when Dr. Williams arrives at the gate. The twins run into their father's arms, no longer scared victims but children who've learned they have someone who will move heaven and earth to protect them. Standing there with his kids, Dr. Williams addresses the crowd of passengers and employees who've gathered. My children were judged today by the color of their skin, not by their character, he says, his voice carrying absolute authority. They were treated as suspicious, as unworthy, simply because of how they look. Every child deserves to be treated with dignity and respect, regardless of their race or background. The crowd erupts in applause. What started as an incident of discrimination becomes a teachable moment about justice, courage, and treating all children with respect. Finally, after hours of nightmare, Marcus and Zoe board their flight to Miami. They settle into seats to A and to B, exactly as their father had originally planned. The flight crew goes out of their way to make them feel special. The captain personally greets them. For the first time all day, they feel like the excited children they were supposed to be. 3 hours later, they're in their grandmother's arms in Miami, telling her every detail of their incredible day. Grandma Williams, who lived through the civil rights era, listens with pride. Change doesn't happen overnight, babies, she tells them. It happens one person at a time, standing up and saying, "This is wrong." This story shows us that discrimination still exists, but it also proves that courage, whether from passengers who speak up or fathers who protect their children, can create real change. Sometimes it takes shutting down an entire airport to remind people that every child deserves dignity and respect. If this story moved you, if you believe in standing up against injustice, make sure to like this video and share it with others. Because stories like this need to be heard, and change happens when good people refuse to stay silent. What would you have done if you were watching this unfold? Let me know in the comments below.